Hello and good morning. It's okay. First off, just wanted to lead this off with a quick random question here, because I was kind of wondering, when it comes to overworld stuff, whether these particular dungeony type of areas have any kind of alternate music, so to speak, like if they are actually programmed to have this exact music, or if there's a way to put more fitting themes, like for Palace of the Dead, you might have some of the Necromancer themes or stuff like that. I was just kind of wondering. It's like, it seems like it would add some, breadth to some of these fights. So, just give it a little bit more of, like you're really there kind of feel. I don't know. Palace of the Dead seems a little bit odd with how happy the music is here. Like, it's all just calm and happy, and we're like in a friggin' gigantic literal hellhole. And yeah, I don't know. Seems a tad janky there. So here is kind of the rough deal of what's going on here. Namely, I'm trying to go down to 22, pick up the crossbow enchilada, then trying to go back to other things. But I just wanted to do a quick part here just to, well, show something that I was showing last time, but I don't think anyone would have ever reasonably stuck out to the end of that, so I just wanted to show what's going on here. So the deal is, I have 2 Dragoons with pistols and all their Slayer skills, which, first of all, I just want to say thank you for finally changing this, in terms of actually allowing all the Beastbane and Dragonbane and Dragon Slayer and Dragon everything. You can use them all at the same time now. I don't know why that was blocked before. But oh well. Any dang ways, no, we don't want to retreat. So they're up in the front, using their kind of riot cop builds, as I like to call them. So they've got their respective pistols. Yunin is by far the stronger one, so he's been given the Karazhan. But the funny part is, because of the way that it calculates the stats being raised, if he uses Dragon Slayer, like, even if he would do 1 damage normally with this thing, with its whole, like, inability to pierce armor and all that, if he uses Dragon Slayer, it seems to just flat out ignore that. So he can just go and one-shot dragons with this thing. It's pretty ridiculous. So, absolutely loving that. Finally gives this thing a use. Actually, the weird double hit thing is more fitting than I ever expected, because I completely forgot about that whole double hit situation when I was making these. And yeah, if the All of Nobody watching this also happens to overlap with the All of Nobody that's played the Pit before, and the Karazhan is actually a double shot magnum with a bayonet on it. So, works pretty well. Any darn ways. What I did here is have 6 archers backing up 2 dragoons with 2 monks. And, I mean, the monks are there because POTD, kinda gotta be there. And also just general healing. But so far I've had a very easy time sweeping through this entire area. These are 2 different classes that have kill moves that have a charm ability attached to them. Now, I don't have that unlocked for most of these characters, since they were just recently switched over as archers. But this theoretically, well, not even theoretically, with how a few of them have those charm moves right now, they can be incredibly good. Like, I want to say it's just the Dragoons, I think just the Dragoons and Canopus that actually have their respective charm moves unlocked for their kill moves. And it's pretty gross. Like, you can basically have them go, take out the front line, charm the back line, and then just deal with the mid line while they're all fighting amongst each other. Fantastic. And this is one of the few times that there isn't even much of a need for holding a line of any description. And again, this actually would be a little bit iffy to set up in the main game for obvious reasons. You'd probably have to pull off something like a double mini crossbows or something like that, which wouldn't be nearly as effective. But this way you can have everybody attacking a single thing, eliminating as they go along. Absolutely loving it, is the point I'm trying to get across here. Also, this is by far my favorite use of this particular map. I believe you see this map 4 times on your way down, and I remember at least 3 of them. I think I remember the 4th one as well, but this one you start off over here by the door, and for some reason you're climbing up in order to go down. Who even knows? I know in one of them you fight over here, and one of them you start, like, roughly over here for some reason. In one of them you start over here. I mean, it varies. I think with one of them you might start here. But I'm not a fan of most of those other ones, just because those pillars get in the way. With this one, it's a bit nicer, because it's a situation where, you know, most of that whole blocking pillar type situation doesn't actually occur. Handy. Also, I'm sure I must have annoyed somebody there by unnecessarily moving. But oh well. Such things happen. And crit? No crit. Well, that's a shame. That is a darn shame. Well, I'm probably gonna have Donalto run up and smack him down then. Probably can save scum for a crit, but I'd rather not. Actually, I probably should have checked. There's one of these dragons here. Actually, a few of them have items that are useful, so Spark Guard Boots, Tempest Bow, and Ring of Clouds. I'm assuming Ring of Clouds is just to be able to do Cloud Walk. As far as I can tell, the only use for that ability is avoiding traps. Oh god, not the traps. Alright, so this is the water one. No, so this should have the Ring of Clouds, theoretically. And let's see, Chaotic Elevation 6. Yeah, that seems about where that was. That'll be this one. Then we've got the Spark Guards on a Thunder Dragon from Elevation 12. I don't think that one actually spawned, and I don't think I particularly care. Because I'm assuming it'll be something like, Earth. I'm assuming it'll be just something along the lines of, oh, you know, these boots give you slightly more lightning resistance, and you can do, like, Spark Guard or some crap. Not a gigantic fan of those things. Seems like the conventional stuff really does the job far better than most of the others anyway. Actually, that's something that I'm hoping changes down the line. Actually, come to think of it, maybe I should just pick them up for that purpose. Let's drop a thing here. Yeah, basically what I'm doing right now, I've been going through the entirety of, well, more or less the entirety of Palace of the Dead a second time, just to go for all the loot drops. Trying to get all of the unusual items, expecting to be able to test them out for future patches and things like that. So, yeah, one of the big things that I hope changes is some of the active effects from some of these abilities, or some of these weapons and armors and things like that. Like, I'll be honest, stuff like even the city set, I don't see a point. Like, you can teleport, sure, but there's other ways to do that that don't require you giving up an equipment slot. I mean, you only get a couple of, well, functionally speaking, you get a couple of them, so I can't really say that that I'd see particular use for it. And I think it's mostly just he never actually got to those yet, because, well, that's exactly how they were in the base game. Yeah, there's the Cloud Ring. If you're wondering about it, there it is. And actually, you know, since I've only killed off one enemy here, I might as well just restart for that Thunder Dragon. Oh yeah, might as well. Might as well do the exact thing I just did all over again. Alright, so is this a ring specifically for wasting one of your turns in order to avoid those traps that aren't ever a problem? Oh man, how useful. Actually, you know what? That gives some... No, that's only because of what I have right now. Yeah, no, that only gives minor defense. Yeah, I can't really think of any time that I'd ever want to use that as it stands. But, you know, that's kind of one of the things that I'm sure he'll get to. I don't know why they did that in the base game. Like, okay, there's a weird technical limitation in terms of those items can't have their constant effects, because apparently the constant effect is just like the state of that unit. So if a unit has some permanent ability, it always has that permanent ability. It can't be removed or something like that. Let's see, Tempest Dragon Elevation 13. I'm not seeing it. Unless it's one of those douchey times that they put the guy way in the back, which thankfully doesn't appear to be the case. And then I'll probably just end the part upon getting those boots. Actually, I should probably show I got a whisker coat for him. She has her thunder coat, even though I'll probably get her some sort of wind equivalent of that later. I got a light coat, which inexplicably is... None of those other coats are special, but the Jiggla's dark coat apparently is super special. Who knows why? Reasons, that's why. Actually, apparently he was looking into changing that, like, background and border of the items type situation to potentially, like, show what's what later. And I think that's the Tempest Dragon over there on the right, with whatever it was renamed to. So I love how fast Voltaire is now. Rajin, yes, Lightning. That is our friend. Yeah, I'm loving these Void Rings. Only used them on a couple characters so far. I like what they do though. Actually, wait a minute. Is he elevation 13? He's elevation 12. Yeah, no, it's this one. It's elevation 13 is the archer for the Tempest Bow, which I already have and can basically go make for free anyway. Not for free, but you know what? Any items that I can just go make, I don't care about getting the drops for. Though that being said, I've gotten all the drops for all the shields for the crafting book that I don't feel like getting. So there's that too. These things can go both ways. But you know what? Odds are I'll probably get all OCD about it and go pick them up anyway. Because that's kind of what wound up being the case here. There's this whole thing of early on I was saying, no, there's definitely no way I'm going to go and do all of these things of getting all these different parts and all that sort of thing. And I ended up doing exactly that sort of thing anyway, so, It is what it is. But I think we'll just kind of sit here and be a meat grinder. Let them walk in and smash their faces on all these bows. Thing is, normally speaking, archers are not terribly effective against any kind of armored things, especially dragons and such. But with enough good characters with decent bows, you can still focus fire to the point of being reasonably effective. And especially now that I have these pistol guys out front, they can basically take care of any hard targets while they take care of the soft ones, and they are very effective at getting rid of a lot of them. Because usually the limitation is you don't have very many archers around, you don't want to exactly risk them doing their crap. So you just leave them as they are. You know, no huge worry and such sort of thing. But yeah, then if you end up putting a bunch of them, but then you have a couple characters that are strong enough to actually deal with armored stuff on their own, you can basically completely eliminate the threat of any squishy stuff while basically just waiting it out for the bigger and slower things. So, very effective for clearing. I'm sure there's more effective methods, but this one's been fun. I'll laugh if that's another Cloud Ring, because man, is that pointless. Right now, anyway. And not the mod's fault. I don't know why I feel like giving these disclaimers out there, but just throwing it out there. Are you the buddy friend? I think so. The origin? Yeah, that's the guy. Alright, he's probably gonna come down here and steal this thing, so I'm gonna steal it first. Candy! Got a couple of them bastards. Oh, for most of everyone I have double shot at this point, so second round is just entirely them raining arrows all over the place. Usually. In this case, it's not really happening. But got decent longbows on everyone at this point. I don't think that there's any better one-handed bows, so at this point I'm pretty much discontinuing one-handed bow users for all intents and purposes. With exception of Canopus with his curse bow. Which is fine. I mean, the short bows There's one exception I should point out, which is having one of my rogues with it, because the Damask ones, even well past their level, they actually function pretty well. I think what are they? The Crucible bows or something like that. Whatever they were renamed to, basically the Damask +1s. Those are still, you know, potentially dealing up to hundreds on stuff, and we're already in kind of the 40s here. So I'm gonna have... Ideally, I'm gonna try to get everybody up to 40. I might end up skipping a few parts to that end. So I might end up leaving this for a few days while I leave it auto-grinding. If you're wondering how that goes, you pretty much just get a competent ranged class, and then you just keep popping in other units you want to level up, and then you swap out who's where, until finally you get to the point of just, you know, dumping points on everyone. So, for example, I have Fusiliers maxed out at this point, so all I really need to do... Oh, dang it, he is just short of being able to do that. So all I really need to do is get like 3 Fusiliers and have everyone else set to, set to rear guard as their AI. They'll just sit there, and they'll wait for the better guys to go take care of everything. So the gunners go around, they shoot everything in Tynemouth, and then, move on from there. And you might be thinking, well, that seems a little bit inefficient, because you're wasting points on, on those gunners, which, yes, that's true. But the points are generally skewed more towards the lower levels. They can't get any more at 50, and I don't want to overlevel my archers, so unless I have other ones that are available, that's pretty much how I've been doing it. And it works pretty well. It works especially well given the fact that I can just leave it sitting here on the emulator. I'll just leave it auto-grinding battles and just do my work stuff, and every now and then just pop it back on, set it up for another fight, and it goes and runs for another 15-20 minutes, whatever. Yeah, easy peasy. Yeah, this one... you know what? Probably time to start ending one of these ones. Or at least get one of them down 500. If I can get them down to 500, I can pretty much guarantee that Yunin can one-shot it. Yeah, that thing is done. Yeah, Yunin has his skills ready to go, so... I'm gonna start shooting at this thing. First off, can you reach? Yes. But you can also double shot then. There we are. Alright, and now we can grind for that thing. Make a Dragon Slayer, and just look at this crap. Wham! Friggin' 540 damage from one bullet. Ridiculous. Like, right now, once they get their TP going, like, once the Dragoons are going, just... After they get 50, and you can pretty much just charge them up with a stake or something, there's no stopping them at that point. And then once the archers get up to 80, they can start, just teaming up to just crush everything around with all their rapid fires. Definitely never put pushback on them, though. And, definitely want more armored gloves as opposed to crit gloves, just so that they're, getting crits as... Well, again, as few crits as possible. Kind of the general idea going on there. This right here is their main weakness, which thankfully they are also a counter to their main weakness. Also, I was very, 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 very much hoping that Lyndall would get his turn first, but oh well. But yeah, so they are a counter to their main weakness. Bam. Alright, so now let's do some save scumming for drops. Again, much easier to do on an emulator. A little bit of a pain in the rear whenever doing it on a PSP, but guaranteed drop coming later. Looking forward to that. Oh, there we go. So that'll be the one, right off the bat. Controller. What gives? Apparently my controller decided to lock up. It's actually funny, because I used to go through all the effort to set the thing up. Apparently you don't have to do that. You know what, I might as well show the end of the fight, why not? So right now we're kind of getting to that point where people are getting a little low on health. So, although I'd prefer to wait until next turn to heal everybody, it doesn't seem like that'll be an option. Just go ahead and drop a heal on these folks here. Now that a few of them have kill moves, we'll be able to move up and start dealing with the others. It doesn't appear to have Rampart Aura. I'm perfectly fine with dragons not having Rampart Aura. As much as it kind of makes sense lore-wise, it is such a major pain when you can't move forward thanks to dragons. But at the very least, it has made this process less frustrating by a very long mile. If you're wondering why it is that I don't have any double shots on Canopus, you know, despite having ridiculous amounts of free points on him, well, that's mostly due to the fact that I don't want to use him by accident. Or rather, I don't want to miss my In Flagrante on trying to get a insta-shot on somebody else. So, basically using those points on him, he doesn't... Because a lot of his damage comes from his second shot, he doesn't generally tend to... Wait a minute, will this still hurt? Yes, it will. He doesn't have a tendency to... Why can't I remember it? Doesn't have a tendency to generate as much TP. So due to his lack of toilet paper regeneration, that's kind of how that goes. Also, sounds like I need to go take care of something here, so I think I will just go ahead and end it here. And hopefully we'll be back after getting all the Wind God stuff. Otherwise, I'll just be doing the next part on that. Anyway, see you then.